When Keith Urban stepped off that private jet in Pennsylvania, something was different. His trademark smile was gone, his eyes hidden behind dark shades, and the world noticed what was missing from his hand. The wedding ring that once symbolized nearly 2 decades of love with Nicole Kidman was nowhere to be seen. For fans who followed their seemingly unshakable marriage, this wasn't just a fashion choice, it was a statement. Just days earlier, Nicole had quietly filed for divorce after 19 years together, citing irreconcilable differences. And now, with Keith's ringless hand caught by cameras, one question echoed everywhere. What really happened to one of Hollywood's most admired couples? But as it turns out, this was only the beginning. Just 2 days after Nicole Kidman filed those life-altering papers, Keith Urban was spotted touching down in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and the photos said more than any statement ever could. Dressed in black, head down, and gripping a brown bag, the country star looked like a man lost in thought. His fingers, once home to that iconic wedding band, were bare, and fans couldn't help but zoom in on that single silent detail. TMZ broke the images first, capturing the moment he stepped off his private jet, heading straight to the Giant Centre for his October 2nd show. For most, it was just another concert stop. But for Keith, it was the first time performing as a newly single man. Meanwhile, social media lit up. Some fans expressed heartbreak, while others speculated that this had been coming for a while. "He looks like he's carrying more than just his luggage," one comment read, echoing the collective shock across the internet. But what the cameras didn't show was that this public moment was masking a much deeper story, one that had been quietly building behind closed doors. While Keith was stepping back into the spotlight, Nicole Kidman was doing the opposite, retreating into calm, quiet spaces far from the cameras. Just a day after news of the divorce went public, she was spotted hiking through the hills of Nashville, with her sister Antonia by her side. No glam, no entourage, no red carpet. Just 2 sisters, walking in silence, as if trying to let nature absorb the chaos. Insiders told People that Nicole had been dreading this moment. "She's been stressed because she knew the separation would eventually become public," one source shared. "But she's surprisingly level-headed and calm. Now that it's out, she's just focused on what's ahead. And her girls." That calm exterior, though, might not tell the whole story. Friends say Antonia has been her rock through this, the person she leans on when the cameras aren't watching. The Kidman family has rallied around her, making sure she doesn't face this alone. But some insiders whisper that Nicole's composure isn't acceptance. It's strength under pressure. Because according to those close to her, she didn't want this divorce to happen at all. Behind the polished smiles and red carpet glamour, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban's marriage had quietly been fighting for air. For years, fans saw a picture-perfect couple, 2 megastars who somehow made love look effortless. But insiders now suggest that beneath that image, cracks had begun to form long before the papers were signed. Sources close to the couple revealed that Nicole didn't want this. She had been fighting to save their marriage, even as things began to unravel. Reports claim she tried to hold on to what they built, hoping the distance, the schedules, and the strain would somehow pass. But Keith, they say, had been going through some stuff, personal battles that began to spill into their relationship. Those same insiders hint that his questionable choices in recent months only deepened the rift. While no one's naming specifics, whispers in the music community suggest stress, exhaustion, and emotional burnout were taking their toll. One source even described it as a slow-motion collapse, one small disconnect at a time. To the world, their 19-year marriage looked strong. But behind closed doors, love was turning into survival. And by the time Nicole realised how far apart they'd drifted, it may have already been too late. Their final public appearance now feels almost eerie in hindsight. On June 20th, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban were seen together at a soccer match in Nashville, cheering, smiling, and acting every bit the loving couple fans adored. Just 5 days before their 19th wedding anniversary, they looked picture perfect. No one watching that day could have guessed that their marriage was quietly on the verge of collapse. After the game, Nicole even posted a warm anniversary photo on Instagram. In it, she's leaning into Keith, smiling softly, captioning it, "Happy anniversary baby at Keith Urban." Fans flooded the comments with hearts and admiration, celebrating a love story they thought would last forever. But now, looking back, that post feels different. Heartbreaking even. Many fans have revisited that picture since the divorce filing, leaving comments like, "She was still trying, and you can see it in her eyes. She already knew." It's a digital time capsule of a moment that seemed full of love, but might have actually been a quiet goodbye. Because sometimes the happiest photos hide the heaviest truths. And just days after that post, the world that Nicole and Keith built together started to quietly come undone. For two people at the peak of their industries, success can be a double-edged sword. Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban were both thriving, but in opposite worlds. While Nicole was wrapping up Practical Magic 2 in London, Keith was thousands of miles away, deep into his North American tour. Long flights, missed calls, time zone differences, it all started adding up. Reports claim that those long stretches apart became the quiet wedge between them. Nicole would fly home between shoots, only to find Keith already gone for another show. They were living parallel lives, one insider revealed. They loved each other deeply, but their schedules stopped aligning, emotionally and physically. The industry pressures didn't help either. Nicole's acting career demanded months on set, while Keith's world revolved around the unpredictability of touring and performing. Both were constantly in motion, just never in the same direction. Rumours suggest that this growing distance created emotional exhaustion, not dramatic fights, but a slow, steady disconnect. They weren't angry at each other, just tired. Tired of missing moments, tired of pretending everything was fine, tired of trying to make two impossible worlds collide. And when you mix fame, distance, and silence, even the strongest bond can begin to fade. Now, as the dust begins to settle, both Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban seem to be living in the quiet aftermath of a love that once defined them. Nicole, according to those close to her, has shifted her focus entirely to her daughters, Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret. Friends say she's keeping busy, surrounding herself with family and finding comfort in structure. She's heartbroken, one source said softly, but she's choosing peace over pain. Keith, on the other hand, appears to be channeling everything into his music. He's been seen travelling alone, keeping his head down, performing night after night, as if the stage is the only place he can escape from reality. Those close to him say he's burying himself in work, trying to stay grounded amid the emotional chaos. Online, fans have been divided. Some express sadness, remembering the early days when their romance felt like a Hollywood fairy tale. Others speculate about what went wrong, suggesting that fame, distance, and personal demons might have played their part. But beyond all the noise and speculation, there's something undeniably human about their story. Two people who fought hard, loved deeply, and still couldn't outrun the cracks that life and time created. Because sometimes, even after 19 years, love doesn't end with a bang. It just slowly fades into memory. In the end, what's most striking about Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban's split isn't the headlines, it's the heartbreak beneath them. For nearly 2 decades, they seemed untouchable, the rare Hollywood couple that made forever look possible. They built a family, weathered fame, and publicly celebrated a love that inspired millions. And yet, behind the applause and red carpets, they were quietly fighting a battle that love alone couldn't fix. Now, Nicole walks into a new chapter, as a mother and a woman rediscovering her own peace. Keith, still out on the road, faces the music, literally and emotionally, while the world watches in silence. Their story is a reminder that even the most beautiful bonds can bend under the weight of time, distance, and unspoken pain. Maybe there's no villain here, just two people who outgrew the rhythm they once danced to. Maybe love doesn't always end. Sometimes it simply changes form. So what do you think really caused the end of their marriage? Was it fame, distance, or something deeper? We'll never know. Share your thoughts below. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories behind Hollywood's most talked about moments.